Hello, one and all, and welcome to round 16 of, I can't believe I'm saying that, round 16 already. We're here for round 16 of the League of Europe Division 2 Championship. Let's get this one underway here. We're here in Mexico, Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. That wasn't too bad, right? We are ahead of this one. And as always, joining me in the commentary box, Mr. QVR Verstappen. How are you, man?
Hello everyone and welcome once again to Division 2 of League of Europe here of Mexico this time out. Or as Dan just said, Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. I think that pronunciation was quite on point. So let's get this underway. 3 rounds to go as we have a 19 point gap in the standings between our Championship leader Rick Hurrick and in the Williams, and we have Axel Hardy just shy of that in the McLaren. We'll see how this round is going to pan out for this race.
Yeah, of course, Rick extended his margin at the top of the standings last time out in USA with a brilliant win. It was a great race in USA there, and of course wet conditions all the way through. Of course, now focusing more on the present, we have Iro Packer, who once again is the first car out on track here in this qualifying session. Now lining up for a lap. Maybe expect pole times to be in the sort of low 13s, maybe high 12s. We'll see how that is going to end up. But the American in the Haas now getting up, preparing for a lap. Take us through as Verstappen. Let's see how you navigate this circuit.
As he has a wide approach towards the start-finish line, open it, the DRS, I believe, is one of the longest straights on the calendar. Now towards turn 1, I think they'll be hitting speeds around 333 kilometers an hour, just about braking for turn 1 on the curb. A lock up there from the American. Now to turn 2 and 3, gotta get the line right completely there, otherwise you invalidate or miss a lot of time on the exit of turn 3. Now open up the second DRS straight, coming towards turn 4 is 27.7. That's a good first sector time, and another lock up a little bit there for turn 4, and now turn 5, difficult corner, running out towards turn 6, double apex hairpin, and onto the curb once again. Now towards the S's, which are very technical and very easy to validate. Once again, 7, 8, 9 left, 10 right, and 11 left. This is just about fluffy if you get the line right. Now towards the third DRS straight, 54.6. I think this is a really good lap from Iro Packer at the moment. Third gear, and he just invalidates, puts it in the wall. Oh, that's such unfortunate to see, as he had a great lap there, I believe.
He's very lucky to still be in the session after that. Just about gets away with it. MMA Slash, I believe, matching Packer going through those first 2 sectors. So let's see where he ends up here. And again, invalidating, this time on the entry to turn 16. So these drivers struggling to keep it on track. Their Slash would have done a 13.3, which is a very fast banker lap. But yeah, that's not going out. Neil Luigi goes top there, 114.3, and Rick replaces him there. Goes fast, it's the 113.7 for the Flying V. So we already saw 2 drivers that look pretty fast out there, making mistakes near the end of the laps and throwing them away right at the death there. So they're going to have to try and move forward later on. So let's see as we have another time. That's a bit more like it from Axel Hardy. 113.4 to kick off the session. And early on there, between the championship contenders, a 3/10 margin in the hunting driver in the standings favour. 3/10 gap from Hardy over Rick. And how important will that be? Can Rick maybe fight back over the course qualifying session? Could we see really come to form here as he goes through in there? And you can see then that 3/10 gap, is that going to hold so the 14 minutes we still have left in this quali session?
We'll have to see about that, but Axel Dillon is coming towards the end of his lap. He's coming towards turn number 14, the hairpin. 13 is actually, excuse me, and have 14 right and 15 left, and now towards the penultimate corner, difficult to run out, and now as tight as you can towards the finish line. Axel Dillon sets a 114.007. QVR Nico's teammate just goes behind on track, but in front in position, 113.7, puts him 3 fans away from Rick.
Yeah, solid lap there from Nico. A little bit further up. Dillon again struggling, maybe slightly. Let's see if he can try and pull it together later on in the session. We have a Racing Point carry up to the line. That's Tin Can dives to the pit lane. Who else is on one? I think Spag is nearing the end, but seems to have gone off at some point on that lap and has turned the engine down. Backy out of it as Backy comes through the line, and that is quick. It's a 113.5 for the pole in the Alfa Romeo. Goes second at the moment. Still Hardy topping the timesheets, but of course, don't forget the fastest time that we've seen so far was still MMA Slash, and he validated that one for a tiny little error. So you suspect that he has more in it. Zoudema, now the McLaren comes up to the line. That's one of the better qualifying laps we've seen from him. A 1:13.7 just in front of Rick. So we're seeing some rather unusual results here. Zoudema does go through Gary up to second, so the times are coming in. Hardy still leads the way. Gary don't keep me honest, but again, Alfa Romeos look pretty fast. I'm looking forward to seeing how Slash goes on as he just comes out of the pit lane, and also how Packer gets on. We saw him throwing away what looked like a really good lap near the end of his run. So looks like the first run of laps is at an end. Hardy on pole position, but you said that his place at the top is anything but safe.
Yeah, it definitely looked like that as a few drivers, of course including Ira Packer, had a basically similar Sector 2 split time to Slash. Those guys have still to set a lap. Spack, of course, still to set a lap. Lando, so there's definitely still a lot of potential for these drivers here.
Yeah, but we're keeping a close eye as well. Lando's just started the lap, as has XL Ryan, who I think is further along. So we're going to go on board then. 27.9 to the first section. A little bit of a lock-up down into the second gear as he sweeps it through turn 5. Very tight corner. Now, into the double apex, turn 6. Playing with the gears there, trying to work the traction down exit. Then you line up this fantastic S section there through turn 7, 8. And from here, it's pretty much flat. But invalidation on the inside of Ryan. Trying to cut the line a bit too fine. And that is going to bring an end to that flying lap. Look a bit further back for Lando. He's also invalidated, and this is the thing with this track that we haven't mentioned yet. Keeping it within the two white lines is very difficult here. It's very hard to actually put the lap together. Quite technical, and because the kind of corners of this track promote track extending and corner cutting, so you're going to see a lot of that, potentially quite a few penalties in the race. A really different dynamic here for qualifying here, because it's so easy to invalidate. A lot of drivers aren't going to get the laps in here that they want to.
Definitely gonna happen, but let's see, for one of the debutants who's now coming through turn number 6 in the Renault, let's see if he can do something. IFR K-Mark, if I'm saying that correctly, we'll see. Now coming towards turn 7 and 8 and 9, and just sweeping it through here. Now through 10 and 11, just about flat. I think he keeps it quite nicely done. DRS is open, and towards turn 12 he goes. 55 flat, a little bit awful. Let's see where he gets himself. Through turn 12, he just about to validate on the exit there. Looked like a pretty decent lap from the debutant, but not getting it ready for now.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Looks like he's still pushing, so we'll see the lap time that the Renault's able to put down over the line. It will be a 14.1, which would have put him around about down to Nima Luigi sort of territory on that lap. And the last section now is XL Ryan has turned down that ERS though, so I don't think he is exactly pushing to the flag here. Packer is right behind him, though we know how fast he was earlier on in the session. Can he keep it clean this time? Heading now to the final corners of the lap, then neatly through the penultimate, runs it out on exit. Is this going to be pole possession for Iro Packer? Yes, it is. Only just 1/100th of a second in it, but Hardy behind is absolutely flying. 3/10 of a second up on the lap at the moment. So let's see where the McLaren driver is able to go with this one. Moving up to the order. I think that was Ted Kant goes fifth, but here comes Hardy down to the line, and it is emphatic at 1:13 flat, and that is some margin clear. 3.5 tenths clear, nearly up at the top. That is astonishing from XL Hardy, straight up to the very summit of the timesheets here in qualifying. Beat that, he says to anyone else halfway through, and at the moment Hardy, can anyone match that lap time here in these final 9 minutes?
We'll have to see if one of the Alfa Romeos can do it. MMA Slash is the furthest one along the lap, I think. 54.6, purple middle sector. This looks promising for the Alfa Romeo as he just about loses control of the car out of turn 12. It looks to be a very difficult corner at the moment for all of these drivers.
Yeah, seeing invalidation, seeing guys losing the rear end there, as we just saw from Slash. These guys are really struggling to maybe put the power down. It's a relatively medium speed corner, but I think traction can still catch you out if you're not being wary, that's for sure. Lando has just come over the line to start a flying lap. We'll keep a close eye on the Renault's progress. Neo Luigi now around the final corner up to the line. Decent improvement, goes 9th on a 1:13.740 at the moment here at qualifying for the time being. Behind, do we have anyone that's near the end of a lap? Their second runs look to be near enough to their conclusion, but do we have anyone? Spags just started a lap. I'm looking, I think that's iPhone Micras. If I'm again pronouncing that right, that could well be very, very wrong. The Ferrari though, invalid and dives pit lane bound. Dylan just starting a lap, so it's all a bit quiet out there, but I think Zed was the furthest along. And the McLaren, let's see how he gets on there. Heading through that second sector, keeping it just about flat out there. Heading through turn 11, now that DRS is wide open. He's slightly up, just under 10th. Going through the second sector, can he eke out more in this last sector? Nice and clean through turn 12. Very tight entry there, and the turn 13 into first gear, really struggling for traction. Just about gets away without an invalidation. He was off the track. Now to the final turn, and easily flat out. Cinema does improve marginally. Goes up in a 5th place there. Is up in front. Gary, I think, improved. He goes just in front, and Lando as well. So the times are coming in there. Gary and Lando just overhauling Packer, but still Hardy up at the front, and still it seems as though no one can get in front of him. I think Spag was the latest driver improving to P6.
Yeah, he just improved indeed to P6. Lando indeed close as well. It's looking very close out there. Let's see, a teammate of Lando. K-Mark is coming through, but he's just about heading into the pits, so he's not going to set anything of a lap. XL Dylan coming through the final sector at the moment. First gear through turn 13, 14 now, and now towards 16. Second gear, and now open up the throttle. Let's see where he can get himself. The Red Bull driver, 113.7 right in the mid-pack into P9.
Yeah, it's an improvement from Dylan, but you sense he may have wanted more. Rick is also out there on track, circulating for the time being. We'll keep a close eye on his progress. Ryan is still out there, but is not particularly fast. 55.1. Going through that second sector, takes a lot of curb on the inside and outside of turn 12. Really, really pushing hard. Again, using that first gear. Short shift immediately to third, but invalidates on the inside of 14, and that is going to spell the end of that lap for Ryan. He is going to stay out there, but yeah, only a 14Z it would have been in the end. We have more cars. Nico dives to the pit lane. He had enough of that one in the end. So we are seeing now as the Spag dives in as well. So we are now getting towards, I feel, the last runs. They'll be coming up relatively soon. Let's keep an eye out there, see how they all progress. Yeah, I think Ryan went over. He just invalidated, as I mentioned. Who's coming through? Tin Can has just come over the line. So a lot of drivers gearing up for runs, but Lando coming in. Baki just coming over the line. So we see a lot of drivers now just gearing up for runs and finishing their second runs. Here we go now, final 5 minutes. It's crunch time, folks. Let's see if anyone can challenge that top mark from XL Hardy. Still, a 113.0 hasn't been even remotely neared so far in this session.
Let's see if MMA Slash can do it. Not having the greatest session, but he's shown to have pace around here. So let's see if he can do it now. Coming through the SS turn 7. Can he keep it valid? Very quick it looks there for him. But just with invalid through turn 9 on the inside. Just about catches him out. And he's going to have to try again. Probably he's going to head into the pits pretty soon. I think Tinkan will be the next one. He is still valid. Coming through turn 11. I've just jinxed him.
Oh no.
On the exit of turn 11, he's got the commentator's curse, and he's not improving back. He's on the quick one, though. He is just in behind. Just about locks up through turn 12, though. It's going to cost him a bit of time. Lock up through 13, but doesn't seem to be costing him a lot. Now it's forced to find a few corners. 16 penultimate. Hecking Gears looks really clean at the moment. Back a little bit over on the exit. Now towards the line, 113.2. So he's the first one to get pretty close there, but he still has some time to find.
Yeah, Baki putting himself onto that provisional front row. Let's see if anyone else is able to join him up there. Mikras and the Ferrari comes through, goes up to 9th. 113.6. It is highly competitive. Very, very closely fought. But at the moment, no one is on a flying lap. Everyone looks like they're just gearing up for the final crack at things then. Here are the closing stages of this qualifying session. Looks like the vast majority of the grid sets in the pit lane with just under 4 minutes to go. Expect maybe drivers going out for their final runs very soon. So Hardy still leads the way. Baki, provisional front row second. It's very close behind then. Some very tight times from 3rd all the way down to 13th. There's only 3/10 of a second covering 10-11 drivers. That is remarkably close. So these guys really, really competitive. But the top two are in a bit of a class of their own at the moment. Hardy leads, but Baki's shown that someone can definitely get closer to him. I think Ryan's the first driver that's exited the pit lane. Now getting on to that final run. So this is it. Crunch time yet again here at qualifying. Can anyone back up Hardy? Who's going to get those places at the front of the grid? What are the strategic implications to this race are going to be? Because although you're seeing everyone on softs, this is a track actually where you're going to see alternate strategies, because tire deck here is very, very high.
It definitely is very high, and it's usually quite well known to be a two-stop around here. So let's see how that's going to pan out, but maybe someone outside top 10 could just go for a medium to hard strategy. But we're going to have to see about that a bit later on, I reckon. Ryan is coming towards the end of his lap. One thing to note as well, I think with those drivers all going to be leaving at the same time, this might cause a lot of traffic coming onto the lap.
Yeah, if you remember in real life, of course, Monza 2019, Slipstream's pretty powerful at this track, so let's hope we don't get a repeat of that situation. The drivers are actually able to complete a final run. XLI over the lane to start the final run there, and there will be traffic. They're going to have to try and stay out of his way there. Next up, you can see the McLaren there of Zonema is going to get nicely out of the road then, and Ryan can continue now, braking for turn number 1. Takes a lot of curb on the inside. He promotes using the curb here. Goes with his first few corners as Bullet Boy now out the session. I'm not sure if that's retired or a crash, but he is certainly out of the running now. We'll start no higher than 15th place. Ryan, our first sector is pretty solid there. A 27.7 is about what we're seeing most of the drivers here today. So can the Racing Point keep this going? Takes a very tight line again. Going through turn 6, opens up that throttle. The Renault gets nicely out of the way now into where the time is really won or lost. Their S section doesn't take as much curve as we've seen a little bit offline. She's got to try and recover it there to get an aggressive flat out exit. And now he powers away then. DRS over for the third time in a lap there. 54.7, that's a pretty solid time to the first two sectors. That might be looking at around about your Packer to Spag sort of age area. So let's see where the Racing Point driver is able to end up. Short shifts into fourth gear to find some traction. Messes up the entry, I think, for turn 16, a little bit wide. Scoops it back to the inside line. Has he found it? He's down in 7th place, and if it weren't for that last sector, it may well have been better fortunes, but he has to sail for that same time as Spag. But ultimately, the Ferrari driver is given a nod on that occasion. Who is the furthest on a flying lap? Seems like most drivers are on out laps. Do you have anything to report? I think Slash is pretty far on. Purple second sector.
Your package just improved to third place, just want to mention that. But let's see, one of the Red Bulls is coming towards starting a lap. That's Nico. Yeah, I think Slash might be the furthest on. Is that Tinkan improving? Don't think he is. Slash coming across the line. That is just about pole position. 100th of a second ahead of Hardy, and let's see if that can get beaten. One of the Red Bulls, that is Dylan starting his lap, and that is Hardy coming across the line. He is just about a little bit faster. It's 112.8, first one to dive into the 112s.
That's an incredible lap from Hardy. That's not far off the Division 1 pole time. That is pretty incredible, and that's going to take some beating. Rick is invalidated on his final run. That could be huge championship news. He will start no higher than 13th place with Hardy still on provisional pole position. This could be absolutely massive. Furthest on the lap, K-Mark now, 4/10 up, going through the last section. Now, nice clean exit. Coming over turn 16 now to the line. Goes from 16th, but it stays in 16th place. Zerma improves. He goes 7th now at the moment in the McLaren. Next up to cross the line, I think Ryan Askey diving to the pit lane. Next up, Barky, I think is pretty far along there, but he's also invalidated then. It would have been up in the second place, but he has in the end to settle for P3 for the time being, that is. To the line now, Spag goes 7th, just about leapfrogs. Zernema moving up then. Tinkan and behind him Slash. They dive to the pit lane. Up in front there, Lando now is a 10th up on his lap time coming through, goes up to 4th. 113.3 then for the Renault driver. Who is going to be next up to step up to the plate then? I think McCross is coming through, but he's a little bit down, going to that second sector, recovers, goes up to 9th place then. And now we're just looking for Neil Luigi now to the line, but stays in 15th. No improvement, incredibly competitive, but Hardy is still in the day with an incredible lap, well clear, 2.5 tenths clear. And even though Slash briefly threatened it, it looked as if at no point was anyone challenging Hardy. What incredible pace the McLaren has shown today.
Yeah, and this will definitely help his initial championship fights, as his rival is down in 13th place and he's going to have to fight his way through the field, to say.
Yeah, that is certainly a prospect to look out for. Gap in the championship 19 points, that's in favour of Rick, but it could have a big swing there. Verstappen take us through the qualifying results there with Hardy, a phenomenal pole position.
Yeah, Hardy 2.5 tenths clear of MMA Slash and 4 tenths clear of Backy in the second row with Lando alongside him. Then it's very close between the rest of the field, basically. Packer and Gary on the third row. Then we have Spack and Zadam again next to each other. We see this all season. Then we cross the day with some decent qualifying there. 9th place and Brian in 10th, rounding up the top 10. For free tire shows, we're going to have Tinkan, Dylan, Rick, championship leader, going to have to fight his way through. Nico in 14th, then Neo Luigi, K-Mark, and Bullet Boy is going to start from the back of the grid.
So that is going to round it up there. A bit of a larger field spread here compared to what we usually see here in Division 2, but that is more exaggerated by the phenomenal laps the top two produced there. The midfield was incredibly bunched up, and I'm looking forward to seeing what that translates to in the race. This track, I wouldn't say, if you're running a DRS train, overtaking is near impossible. Bright and sunny again for the race here. Looks like the conditions aren't going to be phased. Looks like we are going to be dry all the way throughout, and these drivers can really get the most out of their abilities. And yeah, a lot of fascinating storylines ahead of this one. Hardy, of course, pole position, but Rick, championship leader, championship rival to Hardy, down there in 13th place, I believe. Not able to get a good lap in at the end. His banker lap was his fastest lap, and that's the danger with Mexico, is that it's so difficult to get a lap in, so easy to invalidate your laps. And I think Rick's followed foul to that there, and he will start well down the field, and has so much work to do to even stay in that championship lead.
Well, let's see if he can find the race pace. He might be benefiting of what I've mentioned previously, that he can do a one-stop maybe and jump the rest of the field, but we're going to have to see if he can contest for that.
And we're going to have to see what strategy he and everyone else outside the top 10 is going to opt for. A one-stop when starting on the softs, I dare I say it, is near enough impossible. Not sure if anyone is going to try and prove me wrong here today. And you can see the OWS graphic. Don't pay much attention to it, it is usually a load of nonsense. But looking at the tyre choices outside the top 10, you're seeing a bit of a mix there with one real standout.
Yeah, everyone is basically going for the mediums, but Rick thought otherwise, and he's going for the hard tyre. And that's an interesting choice. I noticed hards aren't too great at the start of the race, but he's going to have to get through that bit of the race and go towards probably the mediums at the end, and then benefits of those fresher tyres.
Yeah, of course, Rick may be thinking long term, and this one, a well-timed safety car could really bring him into it. We will see, of course, what is going to transpire here today. But yeah, everyone else outside that top 10 opting for the mediums. Probably going to be a one-stop, I imagine, for most of them. I did see a few drivers in the Division 1 race going for a two-stop outside the top 10. But I suspect the majority are going to be one-stopping, and pretty much everyone inside the top 10 is going to be two-stopping. So it's a fascinating sort of dynamic we have in store for you guys here today in this 36 lap race here in Mexico, as now they get round the formation lap. Hardy and Slash, that's going to be your front row. And one thing to know here for Verstappen is that the run into turn 1 is one of the most exciting on the calendar, because the run is so long and the slipstream so powerful. The guys in 3rd and 4th might have a better chance of leading it than the guys in 1st and 2nd.
We're going to have to see if they can get a good start and take advantage of that slipstream and jump Hardy and Slash. Back in Lando are those in 3rd and 4th. Yeah, the run is, I think, about 700 meters, 800, if not more or less. I'm not entirely sure, but it's quite a long run.
It's long. It's long.
Just about line it up here.
Yes, certainly. So let's get this one started as the rear of the grid now settles. This could be a major championship defending race. Only 3 races to go and the pendulum could swing either way here. We'll see what happens here tonight. Now we are ready, the drivers are ready, and hopefully as Neo Luigi backs out the session, we are going to have a race though. So here we go, building up to 4 or 5 lights. And we're away for the Mexican Grand Prix. Great start from second place. Slash immediately getting up on the alongside Hardy. Looking for that racing. The top two got away well, though. They've jumped away from the chasing pack. There's the old career down towards that first corner then. Hardy still leads the way, though. Slash trying to get up on the inside line. Who's going to be braver on the brakes? On the inside line is with Slash. Is the possession going to be with Slash? He runs it round the outside of turn 2, inside of turn 3, and Hardy is forced out wide. Rejoins, still battling away, looking for that racing behind. Baggy held on, and Lando got swamped there. He immediately spins right to the back of the field as Neo Luigi rejoins the race. His connection must have dropped back there. You can see drivers going back and forth all the way down there. See the side by side race. He got Migras there, battling away with Zerno as the inside of the turn 6. The McLaren's going to get forced out there, and even Dylan having a look at that. It looks like no one really outside the top 10 made major progress, and inside the top 10, Slash did exactly what he needed to do. Brilliant reaction off the line. Jumped Hardy immediately. Hardy tried to fight it, but couldn't go all the way around the outside of turns 1 and 3. Has to settle back into that second place. We'll look for DRS to maybe try and pounce back, but Slash gets the lead, and now you can try and control it. He drove brilliantly last time out in USA, only to be denied at the post. Let's see if he can have better fortunes today. On to the second lap of this race. Slash still leads, but Hardy getting a real fight there right on him as they head on to the second lap.
Yeah, 4/10 between them, and Hardy is closing up. He has half the overtake button engaged. Is he going to go for a move down towards turn 1? Is he going to be close enough? I don't think he is. He just about backs off of the ERS there and has to stay behind for now, but maybe towards turn 4 we'll see some action. Does he have a better exit? Let's see. He does look to be having a decent exit, but I don't think he's close enough for a move. He is not gaining too much and just about stays behind. Bullet Boy is onto the back of Nico towards turn 4. Nico's going to go defend the inside. Bullet Boy around the outside. Can he make this one work? Locks up a little bit, but it looks to be having the inside for turn 5. It's going to be close wheel-to-wheel action between the two. Still side-by-side for turn 6. And now Bullet Boy looks to be having a advantage just about. Still side-by-side. Nico backs out, and Bullet Boy is through into 15th.
Yeah, feisty move, but a good move nonetheless for Bullet Boy. Moves up at a P15 now on the road. Slash still leads the way with Hardy giving chase. This looks like a very intriguing battle over the race lead. Of course, DRS is going to be activated on this lap, but it won't be brought into play completely until the zone between turn 11 and 12 going into the third sector. So at the moment, Hardy will not get that advantage, and Slash still leads the way. We're going to look see if anyone is dropping back from the DRS through the whole field besides Lando and Neo Luigi, of course, with his connection issues. Looks pretty much intact back there. They are all now forming into line. Hardy again, closing up, and he has used the fraction more ERS up at the front there. Behind, Tin Can looks to the inside. Will get that 11th place off of Reku on the hard tires, predictably struggling to move forward, really make a huge amount of progress in the early stages of this race. Now K-Mark looking at him in the whole field, and still pretty much as one. So very, very competitive, very, very hard fought, but still Slash leads the way. Hardy trying to get up to him there as they head through turn 6. Slash, brilliant start away from the lead, but certainly Hardy is not relenting, not backing off the rear end of the Alfa Romeo, sticking weight with him, and we can have a fantastic fight for the win just based on these first few laps. Slash still leads the way, but Hardy putting him under heavy pressure and now has DRS to play with.
Yeah, he definitely now has the advantage of that rear wing getting open and on the straight, and let's see if he can make something work quite soon enough. As I said, the Delta's just about go away, but I think they'll be back quite soon. And Hardy getting a good exit, looks to be having off the final corner, and is he going to put Slash under pressure? Back here with the fastest lap at the moment. Hardy though, closing up to the back of the Alfa Romeo now. Is he going to go for a move? Down the inside, the McLaren goes, and he looks to be having a move completed before turn 1. Hardy back into the lead.
Yeah, well done from Hardy, and he will have that DRS to defend his lead as well, so Slash may not be able to quite fight back there. That is very critical for XL Hardy to regain that upper hand out there on track. Huge battling for them down the field there. K-Mark lost out to Bullet Boy. They're nearly losing the car, losing the rear of that Renault. Just about kept to the lane, and just about will hold on to that 14th place. And Nico maybe looking to change that. Down the inside, heading into turn 4. Big lock-ups from the pair of them there. The Renault is stuck on an inside line. Nico trying to work his way all the way around the outside, now in turn 6 there, but the Renault will just hold the high ground and hold that 14th, but those guys really jostling, really getting quite feisty down there, and they got to be careful not to come to blows, not to come into contact. Up in the front, they have Dylan already with a penalty, and he's losing contact with the race leaders as well. So it's medium tires not providing the grip just yet. Are in the early stages of this Mexican Grand Prix, and they are dropping back a little bit from the soft runners. How much longer will that trend continue? Look at Arnie, he is absolutely flying up at the front. 1:16.7, fastest lap by some margin, and moving away. Close man lane on track. Looks like Ryan is going to be the one under pressure as McCraft now lanes him up, and the Ferrari to the inside line. It will be job done, surely. Up in the 7th place, he just has to get it stopped to turn down for the corner as Bullet Boy now moves past his teammate Rick. Rick, interestingly, has underfueled the car for this race. You can see that yellow fuel warning light ticking in. So Rick definitely going for something different in this race strategy wise. He's maybe just going, a different approach. He knows that he's got not much to lose after qualifying. He's look up in front now because Tin Can now making a move on Dylan to the inside now, heading into turn 4. Can the Racing Point get that stop turned in? Dylan loose to try and fight back, try and grab the high ground, going into turn 5, has to get out of it. A 2nd place Slash with a penalty already, and all of a sudden the pressure off Hardy now begins to lift. He just has to maintain that because at the moment Slash struggling to live with him there. DRS is just keeping him in, but Hardy's pace is relentless, and he is breaking the field apart here up at the front.
He is definitely relentless and not looking to be stopping at any sort of time close enough. Baki is now coming closer to Slash as well. Slash looks to be struggling. He's out of the second. I think he might just about have DRS, but it might be close. And Baki will pressurize soon with a lot more ERS as well. 60% for the pole there behind Slash, who has 15 coming onto the straights and just about has DRS to cling on to. Zuidema is in the meantime looking close to Ryan. Is he going to go for a move down towards turn 1? Closing up into the Racing Point now towards the outside. He might look, but Ryan defends well, holds mid off the track and keeps at in 8th place as Dylan is getting past Tin Can in behind also in turn 1, and Dylan is passed into 10th.
Yes, swapping away back there, but they're losing contact with the field up in front of the moment then. As Zedman very low the race, runs into the back of XL Ryan. They came together. Zedman, I think, misjudged his breaking point, and I think he may be very lucky. No, he's got damage. He does have damage. Back in the field then. Tin Can and Bullet Boy now battling away. Bullet Boy has the outside line. Tin Can with the inside line. He's going to force his way through and force Bullet Boy away. He gets a penalty. That's pretty unfair. Given from Codemasters, and now Bullet Boy severely compromised. K-Mark out behind getting the penalties. We are now on lap 6, beginning to see them rack up here at this Mexican Grand Prix. Up at the front, I'm just noting, Slash looks to be losing that DRS now. He's really struggled to live with the pace of Hardy. It seems like there are few, if any, in this field that actually can. And surely Packer with now over 70% of ERS. He's going to go for it. He is going to attack his teammate. Packer, that's an early pit stop. Looking for an undercut on the drivers in front. Backy now to the inside, and Slash is not going to fight this one through. Goes Backy to underscore. Goes up in to that 2nd place. 1.3 seconds the gap to Hardy in the race lead. Let's see if he has better fortunes. We're trying to stick with the pole sitter, the championship contender, the former Division 3 driver, and critically the race leader out there on track. So Backy does get that move done. Slash, I don't think we'll be able to fight back then, but both Packer and Zedman are coming in very interesting. They've definitely committed to a 2-stop strategy, but where are they going to come in? Bullet Boy out now in the race in turn 3 in a VSC.
And he's I think he's just about lost it at the turn 3. He looks to be in the wall there, car wheel off there, and that is very unfortunate. Just to note, Zuidema also pitted onto a set of mediums and has changed his wing, so he'll be losing a lot of time in the meantime.
Yeah, and Bullet Boy straight up the session. Zedman a little bit further off the back now. He's probably relying at this point on a safety car. We'll see if these 2-stoppers are able to get on though. Expect, is this VSC going to last for long enough to benefit the race leaders then? I'm not sure. Hardy now going through turn 13. He's in that last sector. He does have a few seconds, but now we are back on the way there. It looks like Hardy's gained from that VSC. Now has gained about half a second, I think, on the chasing back. Gary now in 4th place gets up a penalty, and he's got Spag as well, really letting that battle. Looks like everyone up front is going to be staying out for the time being and keeping those tires alive for as long as they can. Behind me, Cross in the Ferrari. He dies pit lane, and he is going to relinquish those possessions. Let's see if he can gain them further along here, as now the rest of the drivers are going to move up. Where is he going to be coming out relative to Packer and relative to Zedman? I suspect that the American is going to jump ahead at the very least, but how far ahead will that gap be? You can see there McCrass now emerging. I suspect he'll split Zedman now coming through that final corner, so he is a long way off the back of Zedman and is certainly relying on a safety car, a full safety safety car to get any sort of decent points. Behind, you have K-Mark now attacking Rex, looks towards the inside. Rex will cover that off though nicely, maintain that nice possession. So seeing these pit stops coming through now for Verstappen, and the question is, how much can they make that undercut work? Because the top 6 are still out there, and their pit stops are going to be probably coming in the next lap or two.
I definitely expect so, and someone who will not have the choice of pitting basically is Slash, because he's behind his teammate and obviously will not want to double stack. So let's see how that's gonna pan out in the next few. Let's see, is Hardy gonna pit? He is opting to stay out for now, and
Slash is
K Mark with another time penalty. Slash in, Gary stays out, Spax is out. Oh. And Brian stays out as well. So Slash the only one to pit. Quite surprising to see, actually.
Yeah, so a lot of these guys maybe having a bit more faith in the soft tires are going to try and stretch them out. Now, where's Slash going to be relative to Nemo, Luigi and Packer? That's what I would really want to know. How powerful, how potent is that undercut going to be? The answer is very. Slash is emphatically jumped by Packer, Iro Packer. That's a massive margin. I was expecting it to be close, but he's several seconds back. And what this means is that Iro Packer, with that undercut, could become a player at the front of this race if he can keep that undercut going. And the guys at the front start losing time. You could be seeing him maybe even challenging. I think he may come out behind Hardy, back even, and right into the podium. Right here, Packer could be.
Well, considering the gap between Slash and Packer is 2.5 seconds, and Slash was about 3 seconds behind Hardy, this might be very close between Packer and Hardy, I'd say.
But the problem is that Nemo Luigi is now holding up Packer. Nemo Luigi still on the mediums that he started the race on, and now Packer on those fresh mediums is beginning to lose out. Now has massive dirty air going through this S section. That's going to compromise him hugely. He even has to get on the brakes through turn 10, but he is going to be on the attack now, heading towards turn 12. There, lanes on the inside line. You don't usually see overtakes at this part of the track, but Packer runs a bit wide, but he's going to make it work and get up into that 11th place. Now we're going to get some answers, as now the leaders now die pit lead bound. Hardy emerges, and he is nice and clean. Did he get held? This could really shake things up here. Packer now around turn 17. Where is he relative to the net race leaders? This could be so important then. Where he is, there is Hardy. He's going to jump them all. Packer's going to move through, and Nemo Luigi may get between them then. He moves up into 8th place there, so Hardy's lost out. Slash has a run on XL. Hardy going towards turn 1, goes for the outside line. Can he get it done on the brakes down? He sweeps around the outside, has the inside return 2 and the outside return 3. Hardy not giving it up, but he may have to. He has to get out of it, and the undercut so powerful. It's benefited Packer, and it's benefited Slash. Now, as it turns out, those two may well hold the net 2 front positions, but the question is now, how far through can they get? Dylan and the likes still have a strong position, because they probably still only have to make one more stop. So now these guys are going to have to get through penalty Lando. He's had a nightmare race so far here in Mexico after a good run of form recently. That is bitterly disappointing for XL Lando. Now down towards the back of the field. I think Slash is going to be the next driver to have a run in Nemo Luigi. Then he's going to go for the inside line, and surely has the place now. The exact move we saw from Packer a lap ago, and Nemo Luigi has to get out of that one there. He has to let it go, as now looks towards the inside line. Hardy may be next up to try and challenge him, but these guys all getting held up, and Packer can run away. He has older tires, but it looks very calm, collected and cool up at the front of the field. Packer now has that net race lead of the drivers that are pitted. Now the question is, can the rest of them get up to them? Hardy's going to be challenging Nemo Luigi. Let's see how that goes down. Heading at turn 1. Looks like the Mercedes may stay ahead for now, but now the overtakes coming into play. And XL Hardy now, is he going to go for that inside line? Behind Gary on the softs, gets to that past Mackie, but now Hardy laying on those brakes, launches it to the inside and gets the move done. So he now follows through behind Slash, and now we're going to see if the fresher tires that Slash and Hardy have relative to Packer are going to work. There's Slash nearly back in that DRS region. You sense that Packer may be reeled in here in these next few laps, so watch out for Gary as well on those softs.
Yeah, he's opted to pit for the soft, so that's a definite 2 stop for the Irishman. Let's see, Spack is getting past his teammate just about towards turn 5 and 6. Mikros has lost quite a bit of time there, so and he has damage actually, so there might have been a bit of contact I'm looking at. I'm not too sure what's happened there, fortunately, as Tinkan has got past Dylan for the race lead, I think. Tinkan now up into P1.
but he does run a bit wide. They're going through turn 13, and you sense that Dylan can maybe have a little bit of a fight back. Rick is still winning, guys, and Rick actually taps Dylan, his former championship rival. Now draws alongside, and he's looking to try and get through that. These hards are going to start coming into play at this stage of the race, and maybe Rick can still get good points out of this one. He's going wheel to wheel now with XL Dylan down the straight there. They are level. There is nothing to separate them as they now get on to those brakes. Who's going to come out on top here? Round the outside, Dylan. Down the inside, Rick. But Dylan will get the better of him. Going through turn 2 and will hold on just about in that second place behind Baki and Gary. Now battling away, heading into turn 3. Gary could get squeezed out there. There's contact with Baki. He spears towards the wall. And they make contact. Out of the race goes Baki. Disaster for the pair of them. Gary tried to hold it round the outside. Baki tried to apply the squeeze. And now they have penalties and a full safety car. This could be huge for the race leaders out on track.
Yeah, definitely. This could give Tinkan, Dylan, Nico and K-Mark basically a free pit stop. And let's see what Rick does with this, because this could throw in some weird strategies in for Rick. There might be an option that he's going to pit, maybe try a 2-stop from this position onwards. We'll have to see.
I don't know. I think that safety car has really cost Rick in this race. I think he may have to pit. It may be his only choice, sitting out on hard tires. He's surely going to be a sitting duck, but expect that all of these drivers are going to come in. Now, hard tires, they can go to the end. It's not easy, but I think they can make it to the end from this place, especially with the safety car. Now, we are seeing all these drivers diving pit lane bound along with Rick. And Rick, again, getting incredibly close to the rear end, the rear wing of the Red Bull in front. Now the pit stops are going to commence. So what order are they all going to filter out, and we can give you a bit of an update on this race. It is Manic here in the pit lane, and Tinkan will maintain that, and Rick goes for soft tires, so that's a definite 2-stop for the championship leader.
And a lot of drives in behind also pitting. Zuidema is looking to be actually the only one to stay out at the moment. He is coming very close to Dylan, just about behind. Rick, this is an interesting development that's taking place here, because basically everyone's going for hards and basically getting themselves committed to a 1-stop from, or like no stops from here anymore. But Rick and Zuidema are not doing that and basically opting for something different and committing themselves to a 2-stop.
See, now this is all going to bunch up then. Everyone behind then that was on that 2-stop strategy have also committed, as we mentioned. That's why we saw such a busy pit lane then. So this is now really interesting. Tinkan and Dylan, now the net race leaders, but they have 2 drivers on faster tires behind them, and they both have penalties. That could really hold them back. I'm actually surprised how few penalties we've seen. I know it's quite a lot, relatively speaking, but this is Mexico in the end. And of course, you see drivers running off and paying up heads all the time. We saw some drivers in Division 1 that were getting up to 20 seconds cookie games. So let's move on then. A lot of clean slates in this race, but don't forget we still have an awful long way to go. So those penalties can really swap around here. I think the driver to watch in this restart has to be Rick. On those softs, he's going to be flying, surely, over those first few laps. So they go off quickly. I think Rick needs to get into the race lead as soon as possible if he wants to at all make that 2-stop strategy work.
Yeah, definitely. And also Neo Luigi has opted for the mediums along with Lando. So let's see if they stay committed to that, because that's a very interesting strategy compared to all the hard runners around, as they'll have to stop as well, especially Lando's at the back, maybe affording another pit stop, but I think he's staying out for now. So yeah, they're committing to a stop as well. Interesting to see how these 4 drivers, basically non-hards, are gonna develop throughout the race.
Certainly, of course, he was running very far down in the order. He elected to stay out there, maybe just looking to try and grab some track position, but those tires definitely will not get to the end of the race, and he may be in a weaker position than Rick, because Rick has completely fresh tires to set a course this strategy. This will also give the drivers a chance to save some fuel, save some ERS, and can have a fresh start ahead of this restart, which surely will be on this lap. The field now converged, the field now bunched up, and we can have a fascinating restart on our hands. Tinkan needs to try and navigate this one, because it's such a long straight, because the start-finish line is so far down. Not far down. It's basically coming out of the last corner. It means that essentially he's got such a long way to go. So no matter what Tin Can does, he's going to have the prospect of a huge slipstream train forming up behind him on this restart.
Yeah, definitely. And watch for Tin Can perhaps slowing down towards the final few corners, towards turn 16, as the safety car is in this lap confirmed. We'll see how the Racing Point does this, but I expect him to go right out of the penultimate corner onto the final corner and try to get the best exit he can.
He's sitting quite close to the safety car still. He's not really backed them up that much. Dylan isn't sitting right on him. And he now closes up there as now Tin Can slows it right down then. And where's he going to go? He's slowed it to a crawl. We get penalties there for K-Mark. Now towards turn 16. Tin Can, he then hesitates on the exit. That's going to cost a lot of drivers a sort of train of thought then. A bit of a disruptions in the round. But now Tin Can is going to go. He shoots off into the race lead. And immediately it looks like Rick was caught out by that one, because now he is under pressure. Packer trying to chase him down, will not quite get up to them, but right, that's not the restart he was after. Who's battling for the down there? K-Mark on Nico, that's the closest battle on track there. The Renault is going to be exposed now round the outside. Goes Nemo Luigi now into turn 2. He's going to get squeezed in there though. Has to get out of that one, and Spag is lighting him up as well. So now let's see what the battles are going to take place here. Here we go then. Nemo Luigi again to the inside line. Breaks on a decent point there, but K-Mark is going to try and squeeze him to the inside line, pinch him into turn 4, and now the outside of turn 5 then. Again, the Mercedes gets forced off, but he does not yield it. He has a penalty, but he does not give out again. K-Mark forces him off the road. He's getting so aggressive, so feisty. Now round the outside of 7. He runs wide and will hold on to that 9th place. Incredible battling, but very aggressive defending from K-Mark, certainly. In that duel over 9th place there. Further back there, Lando slagging back and forth there. He was fighting Gary now in front as they all bunch up then. Heading into turn 12 then. Mick Ross was looking at Ryan and now looks again into turn 13, trying to get on the inside there. Contact, wheel to wheel contact between them, and somehow Ryan will hold on up in front. Up in the front though, speaking of which, Rek now tries to draw alongside Zernema. You can see now the pit window's now open for him, but he is not thinking about that right now. He wants to charge through, and now draws level, looking for the move then at turn 1, can he get this one stuck then? Wreck on the inside, has more grabbing those tires there. Zernema trying to hold it right outside, surely he's going to get squeezed, and now Wreck moves into 3rd place there. Chaos at the restart. Tin Can did a good job to get away. Dylan trying to go with him. Wreck moving through as well. It's now Packer lining up Zernema to the outside now, heading into turn 4, can't get it on the brakes, but Zernema locks it all up, runs wide, and the American looks to get it switched back. Round the outside, and Zernema spinning. There's contact with the side part of the Haas, and Zernema spinning out. That strategy has worked completely against him. Now to the back of the field. What a horrible day this has been for Zernema.
Yeah, and also getting that 5-second time penalty for contact with Dylan, it doesn't really add up to everything, as Lando is just about lagging through everything. There's a bit all to see. But yeah, both Dylan and Zuidermack got that penalty. We're gonna have to see if they can get that removed, because I think that was a bit unfair for both of them. Lando and Ryan are side by side now coming through turn number 12. Ryan just about keeps ahead there. If that is actually Lando's car, we don't know, to be honest, at this point. But we'll have to see about that.
Correct.
Rick is now, he's alongside of Dylan, and now towards turn 1 he's gonna have to move. Easily done, I expect so. This yellows, I think at the moment Lando is in the pits. Rick is through into P2, and now has Tin Can to chase down. 1.3 seconds the gap is.
Yes, he's got to get on with it. Of course, Rick, not the restart he was after, but no one behind has really made too many inroads. Packer still sits down in that 4th place, still has to try and make a move done on Dylan, but of course Dylan is on the same age of tires, same compound of tires. He and Tin Can, of course, massively benefited from that full safety car. Those yellows are still out there because Lando's car has driven out the pit lane. Hopefully that does not impede any of the drivers still remaining in this race, down to 14, so it looks like we will be seeing points for pretty most, if not all, of the finishers. Now Lando backs out the session, but his car is still going around at the moment. Let's keep an eye out, make sure that it does clear itself. These guys are now heading into the final sector on the lap. Let's look at this battle though, forming over 4th place. Slash getting very close to the rear wing of Iro Packer now as they head going to lap 18. We're at the halfway stage in this race. This is taking many twists and turns, and look at Packer, he gets a bit of movement steer on, coming in at turn 17, and now Slash trying to get up to it, but I think even with DRS he will be just too far away to make any sort of impression. position. Dylan has lost contact with the front two. Rick is flying, but he's used almost all of his ERS to make these overtakes work. He has to get past Tin Can now. Surely, they laid on the exit now. Onto the throttle. The overtake now in order, and surely Tin Can can't fight this one. He moves to the inside line, but Rick cruises, glides through into P1. As now Hardy backing away from Slash there. He's looking at that race, and still Dylan holds on to third place, just about holding them back. But these guys now, the guys that qualified high up, that ran at the front during the race, are really pressuring Dylan now for third place. Packer, Slash, Hardy, even Nico, they are all now converging in this one. Packer's still trying to get through, but cannot get through it. Dylan, to his credit, is doing a great job of holding on to that third place then, and still in front of the American for the time being.
Yeah, but for how long? As Packer is pressurizing the Dutchman throughout the whole lap at the moment, and it looks to be just a matter of time before the American gets past. Now towards the final sector, he's not going to be able to do it here, but coming onto the straight, it still has a little bit of oversteer there, but Packer has the same. Packer has to look out behind as well, as Slash and Hardy are right on the rear end of him as well, but Packer looks to be the one on the attack here. He's not wasting his ERS just yet and is sticking in behind. So are Slash and Hardy. Now Mikros is going on his IFR teammate now, and he's up into P10 quite easily. Gary the same on Ryan in behind. Dylan gets another time penalty that will hurt him quite a bit.
Packer nearly lost it coming off turn 3, and now Slash look at the inside of turn 4 then. Packer trying to ease him over to the inside lane, but Slash has the high ground, has the inside lane, and has the place now. Finally gets the move done. He's put a car between himself and Hardy, but those penalties are still up in the air, don't forget. So Packer still has a good run at this one, and he has to try and fight back in the turn 6. Can't quite find a way through just yet. Now Slash has a clear run at XL. Dylan, can he get a move done? As Rick in the lead continues to move away now. 1.6 seconds is the gap to XL. 10 can behind. Slash oversteer coming off turn 11. He's really trying to push the envelope, trying to claim that third position, and he's so close now as they head into the third sector of the lap. Dylan this time may well finally have to let this one go. He's held them back so well, but again as he gets oversteer through 14. Now Slash looking at him. Dylan almost goes pit lane when he might have oversteer he was getting. The rear tire is screaming, but now Slash DRS will surely get the move done this time. Down the inside and up in the third place, and can Packer try and follow him through. He has a great toe, a great run now on the rear end of the Red Bull. Looks towards the inside lane. He's going to go for it down the inside. Can he get it stopped there? He parks it on the inside line, and Dylan will just hold on to it. But now DRS and the exit off the corner will be with the Haas. Dylan moves him over towards the grass there. Packer squeezes through the gap round the outside, and the wedges go over on Dylan. Dylan incredibly late on the brakes, runs it out wide, and Packer fighting back to the outside of turn 5, and now Hardy tries to get up and alongside the Haas, and there's contact between them then. Packer with a penalty as well with wing damage. Hardy tried to force the issue, tried to force him through the gap, couldn't quite get it. Rick now has a penalty, and it's absolute mayhem ended on track. Packer and Dylan, that battle was heated, that battle was ugly, and it's Packer now in the Haas that's got that damage, and surely now the McLaren of XL. Hardy now chasing him down towards turn 12, down the inside goes Hardy. He secures that 5th place finally, but he's lost a heap of time to MMA Slash, who now chases down on Tin Can for Stabbin. This sequence has been unbelievable. The racing has been phenomenal, if even a bit disrespectful between the drivers. Packer down his pit lane with wing damage, surely. What on earth is going on? We still have just 16 laps to go in this race. Hardy the lead driver without a penalty. Who knows who's going to come out on top in this race? Tin Can may even have the upper hand at this point.
Yeah, at the moment, let's see what the gap is. Tin Can does have the 3-second gap to Hardy at the moment, so at the moment it is Tin Can basically on for the race when Slash is closing up to the back of the racing point though, and he is, despite having only 10%, 15% now of ERS, as he regains some through the braking zone of turn 4, but he is looking very quick nonetheless and is looking to attack the racing point pretty soon.
Now heading into that S section, Dirty Air will start to kick in, of course, for MMA Slash, but he still has a chance at this, even with a penalty, if he can just keep this going. He only has 3 seconds still, if he can just hang on to that through the remainder of the race. Then his gap over Hardy's almost exactly 3 seconds, so it is on a knife edge, but of course Hardy still has traffic in front of him. Dylan is still holding him back in that battle over 4th and 5th place at the moment then. But look at that Slash, surely has XL. Tin Can laid up here, but Tin Tin Can has the ERS advantage, gets him out of moves to run for 16. Slash right a little bit wide, and he's trying to use the last of his ERS reserves, the last of his overtake button, trying to chase him down. DRS now open, again on the overtake, desperate to chase down the gap, and he's gonna chase him down the ends, to the inside now. Slash for second place in a row, can he get it done this time, on the inside line? Yes, he does. XL Tin Can has to yield, and MMA Slash up into that second place. Superb stuff. Dylan still holding back Hardy. Hardy losing so much time in this fight. Can he get it done this time? To the inside it's going to be Dylan. Surely at last has to yield this one. Hardy to the inside. We'll see it off. We'll secure it. As now another penalty for Slash, and that could be huge now. Hardy now up to 4th place. Hardy could be in the pound seat there as he moves up to P4.
He is now in the prime position to win this race as Gary gets past Kmark into turn 6, still alongside. Kmark actually using the overtake towards turn 7 and staying ahead just about. Gary has to find another place to get past soon. Luigi is still in this as well. He's on the medium, so he'll probably have to pit again. But he's still onto the back of Dylan and not looking to back down anytime soon at the moment as Kmark is out of the race.
Kmark out indeed there. That's going through that last sector. They're out of turn 12. The yellows are still out there. Let's hold that thought. We'll see what the outcome is going to be from this. Is it a full safety car? A full safety car, and that incredibly changes things. What are the strategy calls going to be?
Gary
Immediately,
Ryan.
Gary and Ryan dive for pit lane. They had the chance to, but no one else in front of them did. They're forced to stay out there, and Gary and Ryan could be in a fantastic position to gain from this.
They definitely can. It's quite unexpected, but they didn't hesitate and just went into the pits. Let's see, because normally this would help Rick quite a lot, but I don't know how much that is going to influence now, as everyone has the opportunity to pit, and especially with Gary and Ryan in this, just getting back into it. And Packer is one to note as well, as he's come out in between the two XL members, and he is kind of back into this as well.
Yeah, but I don't think the guys up in front, they're not being influenced by the safety car. The safety car stayed at the side of the road, so they may not lose out actually too much from this. Let's see, Gary, the gap is coming down, but they're all having to stick to this delta at the moment under full course yellows. Let's see what the strategy calls are going to be up at the front. Rick is by far, I think, the hardest strategic dilemmas, but surely this one is a no-brainer. He has to come into the pit lane on those soft tires, which will be screaming for mercy now at this stage then. Rick does dive to the pit lane, and what's the guys behind going to do? Slash stays out, Tin Can dives in, Hardy also in then, and we're seeing a lot of Max heroes selling also out at the moment. Neo Luigi of course goes to the pit lane, followed by Nico, and I think everyone else behind is going to dive in. So Slash, Dylan and Spag that have stayed out. Spag with no penalties has a good position here, but now with all these pit stops in, onto fresh mediums, fresh hards in the case of Neo Luigi, that could change things, and Rick now could be in a great position to maybe even challenge for the win here if he keeps it up. Rick could be in a great spot in this race, but he does have that 3-second penalty, and some drivers around him are clean. So Rick has really been brought into play for this. Now can he make the most of it in the final stages of this race here at Mexico?
Let's see if he can. Gary is not really gained too much on the car's head, so unfortunately their response time has not gained them too much. But they'll still be in a good position here, especially Ryan, who's got no penalties as one of the few, along with Spag, Hardy, Nico, and Zuidema, who is now back into this as well, so that is nice to see for him. They're looking maybe to get some good results here, because they're not, all of them are not out of it, really.
Yeah, we only have 13 drivers, so maybe there is a case where we could have all the finishers picking up points here. It has been a bit of a race of attrition. We have 4 drivers, of course, out of proceedings in this one. They being Kmark, Lando, Baki, and Bullet Boy, who have been forced out of this race then, and bad day certainly for all of those guys at the moment out there. We will come over the line and we have 12 laps to go. The next lap, I suspect, will be the one where we get back to green flag racing. So how is Slash going to play this one now? We saw with Tin Can, his starting tactics were very erratic. You saw him back you up, then accelerate again, and he slowed up right coming out turn 16. So what's Slash going to do? Is he going to be as unpredictable and as fired up as Tin Can was in that restart? How is Dylan and Spag going to respond to that? And how do they all hold back the fresh medium runners behind?
We're going to have to see if these hard runners are able to do this. It will be a very tough task, I reckon, for them. But who knows, they might surprise us and hold these guys back, especially Spaak, who's, as mentioned before, got no penalties. He is not out of a good position at all.
Yeah, I was just asked in the chat to check penalties. You can see them there at the side of your screen, and I think Dylan's a standout there. He has 11 seconds, Slash with 6 as well. So the race leaders have had a bit of misfortune in that regard. Spaak, of course, the highest placed driver without any penalties, but can he hold out there in that position with the slightly worse tyres? In fact, much worse tyres he has compared to the chasing pack. You can see there, Hardy is now with Rick. He is with Tin Can with no penalties still to the McLaren driver's name, but all of a sudden his chances of claiming the championship lead are much slimmer than they were. He started on pole, Rick started down in 13th position, but the safety cars and strategies have completely flipped those fortunes. Safety car in this lap, and how is Slash going to manage it, and how is Dylan going to react? Safety car restart in a few seconds time.
We're going to have to see. Slash is looking to back up quite immediately already, going at 80 kilometers an hour at the moment. And when is he keen on going, then is he going to go out hairpin already? Could be, but it would be quite abrupt. I don't think he is. He's looking to wait till the final few corners. Now for the penultimate, he looks still to be waiting here. Quite weird to see. He has a bit of oversteer there, and now he's going. Dylan has oversteering behind as well. Spaak is onto the back of the Red Bull. Rick is coming towards. He is coming towards the inside. He's had a great restart. He's alongside Spaak. Boxes him in between Dylan and Rick. Rick has not got the most overspeed just yet, but is he going to strike on Dylan? Dylan moves across. Rick goes down the middle then, and around the outside for turn 2. Is he going to be a phenomenal move by the Williams? And is he going to be able to dispose of a slap? Ready, he's opened up the overtake now towards the inside. The Williams will look just about stays behind, but that's a phenomenal move from Rick. And Mikros and Nico are side by side at the moment, same as Tin Can as Spaak. Spaak is just about staying ahead there. It looks like a bit of contact as Tin Can goes a bit deep, but Spaak looking to stay ahead here towards the S's.
Wow, what a sensational restart that was from Rick. That was one of the most phenomenal pieces of driving I've seen in a long time, and now he is inspired and chasing down MMA Slash at the front of this race. What a restart this has been for the Fed. He jumped immediately off the restart and got the pair of them and almost had a look at Slash. Slash, there on worse tyres, still leads the way. No DRS, of course, just yet for the drivers behind to utilise. So that's not going to come into play. Maybe that'll make overtaking easier, though, for the guys still running in what would be a DRS train. Spaak, I think, is under pressure here. Tin Can now is lining him up as they head, going down and to turn 1 there to the outside line. It's going to be Spaak, covers off the inside line, easing back towards the outside, and right now going for the race lead down the inside on Slash. Can he get stopped and turned in? Rick, what a lap, what an incredible piece of driving. He now leads the way, and now Spaak trying to force his way down the inside, oversteer the exit, and now Hardy will pick him off on exit. Spaak losing out. He tried to go on the offensive, and now Hardy on Tin Can. He'll breeze through on the racing point. Spaak trying to go late at the improbable move round the outside, and now they will gets up and alongside and round the outside. McCross trying to make it 3 wide at turn 6. Did not go 3 wide there. Round goes to Ferrari. Just saves it, but he might lose out to Nico. Nico himself was under pressure because Gary now round the outside of his former teammate, but Nico will just about cover it off. What an action packed. What a phenomenal restart this has been for so many of the drivers. Rick leads the way out there, but had 3 seconds of penalties. In the end, it's really the championship leaders that are coming to the fore here. Gap between Rick and Hardy, 2.3 seconds, but Hardy has traffic to move through. Nico now with a penalty as well. That could lose him out. It's now Packer and Gary side by side down the inside. Packer to make more contact and into the wall. Another incident for the pair of them. Packer out wide and through goes Gary, but another incident where Packer loses some of his front wing. What a horrifying day this has been, as Hardy to the inside on Dylan. He is flying again, inspired just like his championship rival. There he goes in at 3rd place, and now Hardy is chasing a race win here if he can avoid a penalty, if he can stay on the track. What an incredible sequence this has been. The field is still punch up for Verstappen. What on earth has gone down on this restart?
This action has been quite amazing to say the least, and it is not looking to stop anytime soon, as there's still a lot of battles going out on track. Nico is looking close to Mikros at the moment. That's the closest at the battle on track at the moment. And of course, one thing to note, Dan or Zuidema is one of the ones to still be clean at the moment, and he is maybe looking for a potential top 5 position even at this rate.
Oh, that is just classic Zuidema, isn't it? From nowhere, we're getting decent points. We have a long way to go still in this race. As I did see Nemo Luigi running a bit wide there, that's probably a warning, as Gary picks up another penalty near the back of the field as well, and having contact with Packer. It's not been a great day for the AlphaTauri. The defending champion, of course, will not retain that title. Of course, he was demoted from Division 1, so he will not be able to retain that, but he can still try and get as many points as he can. Further up the field, Ted Khan now trying to line up XL Dylan. He has a good chance of a top 5 as well. He's driven very well in those battles. There's now Nico as well. Down the inside of the round the outside, sorry. Mikros tries to line him up here through turns 2 and 3. That doesn't get a better exit down the Ferrari. It's a little bit of a kick in the rear wheels from the Ferrari drivers up the road there. Ted Khan down the inside on Dylan. Can he get that one stopped? Can he get it turned in? Can he get the place? He can do all 3. And now XL Ted Khan up into that 4th place. Great move. And now he runs 4th. Can he get the gap out to the drivers? He may well be losing out on penalties then. Nico still lining up Mikros. Cannot get through for the time being. Hardy now chasing down Slash. Slash doing really well to hold up the front on those tires. Neil Luigi another penalty. Chaos and this restart ever since. As now the gap in the front 2.5 seconds. This is nail biting to the flag. If Hardy can clear Slash, he might just take it. But if he gets held up by the Alfa Romeo, then Rick has an incredible chance of winning this race from 13th on the grid.
That will be an amazing story to say the least, as he was disadvantaged with that first safety car, I reckon, but now has taken some advantage of the second one. And Hardy is looking close in an effort to Slash. He has an amazing run at the moment on the DRS. Overtake engaged, but he has almost no ERS to play with. He's down the inside though of the Alfa Romeo. Is later on the race and is through into second place. And that is a brilliant move by the McLaren, and now has a straight gap to Rick. Let's see if he can hold on to that.
Superb from XL Hardy now runs second. He had to do that under pressure. Now he just has to try and stay with Rick to the flag. That is all he needs to do at this point in the race. So Hardy's given himself a massive advantage now. And Slash, on much older tyres, didn't fight that. He is just focused on trying to make it to the checker flag now as we near the closing stages. And what has been another phenomenal Mexican Grand Prix. Last season's was amazing, and this race has certainly not disappointed then. But so unpredictable, so action-packed, and the action and the unpredictability, both the cases, is certainly far from over here. We now have just over 6 to go. The gap in the front sits at 2 seconds now, and Hardy looks to be slightly faster than Rick. Of course, he qualified on pole. He was sensational, and you think he even deserves this victory, but it is not over yet. Rick still has a sensational fighting chance of trying to stay in this one and keep that championship lead afloat. It's been such a great damage limitation race for Rick. Can he win it in the most incredible circumstances here in Mexico? The field now beginning to form a bit of a DRS train. That's behind Dylan, who now comes under pressure from Spag now, who lines him a penalty. Rick, that's so crucial now. Another pen for Rick, and now Hardy has a huge advantage here. Look at Spag, he's lining up Dylan in over that 5th place. And can he get a run? Look at the inside, maybe going to turn 4 then. Dylan covers off that inside line. Will hold on a P5, but that second penalty for Rick has blown it wide open, and now you suspect that Hardy just has to stay with it. Hardy, it seems like it's going to be a deserving victory. He hangs on to this one. If he can just keep it going to the flag, then Hardy could be closing this down. The championship lead could be cut to almost 0 if it keeps going then. It sits at 19 points. Rick, I think, will still lead the way after this round if it stays as it is, but Hardy is chasing him down now, both in the race and in the championship. Has a great chance now. Spag to the inside on Dylan then. Can he get this one done? The break still trying to hold it right outside. Gets squeezed off the track, forced off by the Ferrari. Gets the inside line back. Heading in a turn 30. Gives space to the Ferrari. Again, Will Spag nearly goes around. And now they will Luigi round the inside. Contact between them. Spag just saves the car, just rescues it. Mikros now down the inside. Will get through as well. And now Nico lining up Spag. Spag has had an absolute mare here in this battle. To the inside goes Nico. It's Ryan lining him up. Nico has an incredible run. And he might even look at Mikros now. Heading into turn 1, hangs back from that one. No, he doesn't. He looks at the inside. Late on the brakes is Nico. As now, this is just remarkable. Gary and Ryan side by side. Spag and Nico side by side. Spag tried to fade it back. He's going to lose out again though. As Ryan now looks to cruise past. Spag using the last of his ERS, the last of his reserves, dives back down the inside. Can he get it stopped there? Ryan now has that crucial inner lane for turn 5, forces Spag off the track. Spag's going to have to get out of that one, and now Gary looking down the inside, gets squeezed out there, but Spag losing 5 places in 1 lap to the inside. Gary hangs back from that one. I am overwhelmed by this race. The action has just been immense. I'm starting to lose my voice at this stage, as I think you guys are becoming accustomed to. Just over 4 laps to go here in Mexico. What a sensational race this has been, and Hardy's now catching Rick. A win not only looks possible for Hardy, it now looks probable if he can just keep this going to the flag. Rick doesn't look like he has much to fight with here.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't look like that, and Hardy is actually at the moment faster than the championship leader, but still we have this, what is it, 8-car train still in the midfield. Gary is closing up towards Spag as well as Nico, towards Mikras and Niwaluigi to Dylan. Niwaluigi stays behind, Nico stays behind for now, Gary stays behind, so they all go in one apiece towards turn 4 now. Let's see, any moves, as Packer has had enough and he's retired from the session in the pit lane. But let's see, any moves on the cars? I don't think there is, and they'll all stay in one big line, to say the least, and yeah, gonna have to see the last 3 laps if there's gonna be any sort of moves towards it. But Hardy is closing up once again more towards Rick, 1.2 seconds, and it might even go down on track if we're not if Hardy gains at this rate, to be honest.
Dylan now with another penalty. That's 14 seconds now to his name. This race, I think, has overwhelmed the pair of us with the amount of action we have had. And one thing to note, I think that Zonema has an outside chance of a podium here. I am not joking at this point. The way the penalties are lining up, he is almost dead level with Slash at this stage. And Slash, of course, will be on tires that are starting to go off. So Zonema at least has a run at a top 5 here, which will be incredible given the circumstances. Can Nico finally, at last, get through Mikras down the inside? He's been frustrated. He's been outright annoyed. But he finally gets through Niwaluigi on Dylan as well. Gets up into that 5th place now as the Mercedes driver, having one of his better showings. Is now Gary to the outside, gets through on Spag as well. Spag has had a horrible time of it in these last few laps, has to give up yet another place now, surely in that fight. So now Niwaluigi at the front of this train, and my oh my, almost all these guys have penalties. The only clean drivers left in the race are Hardy and Zonema. Hardy has closed in on Rick with just over 2 laps to go. You said you're going to be seeing the 2 championship rivals maybe going into war, going into combat up in the front of this race. Hardy chasing him down, but he has almost no ERS. Neither does Rick though. So if Rick can at least restore the honour of holding the lead out there on track to the checkered flag, we'll see how it all unfolds. The battle over 4th place still rages on. 5th place, sorry, then Sinkan has a good advantage now. He might be able to lock up a top 5 at the very least in this race, maybe even better than that. This race has been phenomenal. It's not over yet, because look at the 2 Red Bulls now bunching up. Nico all over Dylan here onto the penultimate lap.
Yeah, it looked like Nico is going to get through on his teammate quite soon. 2 laps to go and Nico is onto the back of Dylan for 6th place on track. And he looks to be breezing past quite easily as Mikras is going to get through on Dylan as well. Dylan goes towards the inside, Mikras towards the outside. Is he going to be able to hold on? Dylan gets very close to his teammate. And there's a bit of contact there.
Ryan!
And now Ryan gets involved on the outside as well. There's free wide action. Dylan dropped back all the way towards Gary and Spag. And now it's Mikras and Ryan side by side. Gary's looking towards the outside as well. Ryan breaking deep, and Mikras still on the inside of turn 5. Then looking to be holding on to that 7th place at the moment. Gary is looking onto the back of Ryan as well, and is holding on. Spag is going to get through on Dylan here, side by side toward the S's. Dylan uses a bit of ERS, and now let's see side by side contact, and Spag is round there, and Dylan, has he been able to hold on? Yes, he has, but it's just about behind Zoudema at the moment, and this has gone into a mare for Spag, to say the least, and Dylan as well not having the best time. Only Slash has been able really to hold on to that heart, and that is the best of credits to him as we head on towards the final lap now.
What a race! This is borderline race of the season material at this stage then. Let's see what the final lap has to offer. Gary is right on the back of his ex-helmet Ryan, and they all chase down on Mikras. They are at 0 on ERS, but Ryan is giving it everything here now. Onto the back of the Ferrari, pulls to the outside line. Can he get it down the race? Mikras trying to hold it, gets pinched in there though. Onto the curb, onto the inside line, and he will have to get that one up now. And now Gary lining up the Ferrari driver as well. No DRS for Mikras then, and he's going to be on the defensive to the inside. Goes XL Gary on the brakes. He's a little bit later on the inside. He's a little bit braver. And does he have the place though to go with that? Mikras squeeze him towards the car on the outside as the crucial inside light for turn 6, but Gary trying to hold it all the way around the outside onto the curb now. Puts on the overtake, but he cannot stay alongside him. Mikras just holds on to it, just about maintains it in that battle over that nice 10th place. This is just phenomenal. Up to the front though. Rick looks like he'll hold on to it. Another penalty for Dylan. How much is that going to set him back? He only has 5 behind him on the road now. Rick to the line, runs it out wide, and now he's run out of fuel, I think. And Hardy will get it on track anyway. Hardy wins the day in front of Rick. Slash 3rd place. Does he hold on to it over the line? Tin Can 4th. Nemo Luigi 5th. Nico jumps all of them up in the 3rd. My oh my, I did not see that one coming. Nico gets P3 in the end. Sensational from the Red Bull driver. He looked nowhere for most of the race. That was phenomenal. And a big championship race as well. Rick gets driver of the day, and I think deservedly so. He put up a great fight, but in the end just couldn't hold it back, and Hardy gets a crucial race win, puts him even closer to the championship leads.
Yeah, that will reduce the gap, if I'm correct. It will reduce the gap to 12 points, and with 2 rounds to go, that can be going towards Brazil then, toward all the way down towards the final round of the season. Let's see how those last 2 races in Abu Dhabi and Brazil can have in store for us, because this has been amazing, and it's going to be very, very hard to top this one.
That was breathtaking. Simply breathtaking. In the end though, Hardy wins it from Rick, their familiar top 2, but that could have huge implications. I think you're right, that gap will go down to just 12 points ahead of the final 2 rounds of the season. Nico, a superb drive, just keeping it clean and winning out in the end there. He was in the face, he looked frustrated, but he got 3rd in the end. Slash done brilliantly to keep those tires up in line for 4th place. Tin Can, good solid 4th drive to 5th. Mikras gets points there. Good solid debut for him in 6th. Zerma, last lap penalty cost him. He gets 7th from 8th. Ryan Spag 9th. Neil Luigi 10th. Gary and Dylan round out the finishers, and the drivers that did not make the checker flag: Packer, Kmart, Lando, Baki, Bullet Boy. That is going to round off possibly the best race we've seen all season, but in the end, a big championship swing. Hardy wins it from Rick. Rick, great damage limitation drive. Great drive from Nico as well to get 3rd from 14th on the grid. I think I'm going to have to have a lie down after that one.
I think I'm gonna lie down in my room as well, because I can't lie down with you in that case, because of social distancing, of course. But yeah, but we have to give credit to these. Yeah,
I think the fact that one of us lives in Scotland and the other one in the Netherlands also has some slight implications. Just a little thought there for you.
I mean, you never know, but. Anyway, that's gonna wrap this up. Hardy taking the win, and Rick and Nico both from outside the top 10 getting on the podium. Well done to all 3 of those drivers today.
Yeah, and I think that is probably just about it, because I feel like my voice box is ready to literally just die. I may not be able to speak tomorrow, but anyway, let's wrap this up as soon as we possibly can then. So at the end of a brilliant, incredible race here at Mexico, we're going to wrap this up. So, with everything set up for round 16 of the championship, I'm Zaka, he's with Verstappen, and until next time, we'll see you later.